Yo, this is Stylish. I'm back, and this is another first-person VOD. It's gonna be a Terran versus Protoss on the map Collosseum, and it's gonna be an in-game VOD. And this game is actually pretty good. This is versus a Korean. I think it's on B- level. He's about 270 APM. Doesn't say much, but a Korean with a good record, like I think he had like 40 and 5 losses. And he has high APM, and he only plays Koreans, so usually those guys are pretty good. So I try to choose my matches against some better players to get better replays. Because if I manage to play good versus him, the replay usually, the VOD usually gets a lot more interesting and good. Anyway, this time I'm gonna do the flash build because I haven't done an in-game flash build yet. The flash build being 2-1 upgrade timing attack. At least that's what I set out to do here. Of course, things can change during the way. For example, he can do different openings that or different things in the middle game that requires that you change your strategy. For example, if you do the flash strat, and when you get your scans, it's very important that you scan on good positions because, for example, on this map, there are some positions where a Protoss usually sets his stargates or something like that. And if you see the early stargates with the carrier, then immediately just start making glides and turrets at your expansion. Usually you have to make turrets at one expansion and have your glide at the other expansion, because you don't want to split up your units, and you want to have defense for carriers on both your expansions. Anyway, what happened here is that he scouted me really early, so I thought he was going to do some proxy thing in the middle, because his probe was in my base before I even set up my barrack, and that is usually an indication that he's doing something cheesy. So anyway, I had to micro a bit here versus his probe, because probes are imbalanced. It's an imbalanced unit, and they are almost invincible, so you have to use like a lot of SVs to be able to actually survive the first minute. I know I sound a little bit like Artosis here, but it's actually true. So it's a tip for all you Protoss guys out there. Make probes, yeah. Anyway, you see here that since I had so many SVs, well, 2 SVs off my minerals, repairing each other and making buildings all the time, I get a lot less minerals. So therefore, I only had like 2 SVs in my gas, or else I would have 100 gas far too early, and I wouldn't be able to put up my factory in time. Anyway, I scouted him. I thought that he was gonna be at the top left, or at the bottom right, because he scouted me so fast. But apparently he sent his overlord in the cross positions directly, and usually they do that if well, for one, if they're gonna proxy, they can do that, or if they're gonna 14x, then they also usually send their probe in the cross position, because if they see that you're at the cross position on a quite big map like this Colosseum, it's almost like a safe opening to do the 14 nexus versus a Terran. And when I scout him here, I see that he has 2 gateways, but he hasn't started his range yet, and he pops a sellout first. So that almost always means that he's going 14 nexus. And now I just want to see with my SV that is he doing the range upgrade? Because if he's doing the range upgrade, then he's not likely to do some fast DT rush. So obviously he's not going to have a really fast robotics bay since he 14 nexus. And I saw that I actually saw it in the bottom right corner of my screen, that he upgraded range as well. So there won't be any fast dark templars nor any fast drops, so I can actually delay my eBay pretty much, and that's one way to catch up economically, because you really have to catch up economically when he's doing that 14 nexus. But even if I add my eBay later, he's still gonna be ahead economically. So I'm currently at a bit of disadvantage right now, but it's doable with the flash strategy, because the flash strategy, usually you go out when he has 200 anyway, so it's all about that big fight. Anyway, you see here that I move my first marine. When it pops, I move it to scout if he builds anything up the cliff there. If he sometimes they build a robotics bay there and do this really fast prox reaver drop, but he isn't doing that this time. But usually then they take their probe anyway and just stay on the cliff there to get some sight if I move out or anything like that. So usually I just move my marine out there and keep him from having that position with this probe early on anyway. So that was a little bit about that. As you can see, I follow my normal game plan because usually when I face 14 Nexus, you can basically keep just doing the flash strat, just delay your eBay, and you're gonna be a little disadvantage, of course, but usually you can manage to win the game anyway. Maybe you've seen a lot of VODs from pro gamers where they can take 14 Nexus and the Terran actually winning anyway, like Flash versus Jung beyond Collosseum and mine versus, I think it was Free. So basically it means that you can win in a disadvantageous position. I don't know how you say that word anyway. So I add my second factory a little bit earlier. I think I add my second factory. Oh yeah, I add my second factory before I add my eBay, quite a bit earlier than my eBay actually. And I made the 4 vultures as usual because I have to know if he's doing some kind of 14 Nexus 2 base arbiter rush or 2 base carrier rush, because that's quite common. Another common thing they can do is like 14 Nexus and then they scout that you're doing an expansion and then they take another Nexus as fast as possible and then they go 3 Stargate carriers. So you also have to look out for that when you get your scans. The timing when you get your scans in this builder is actually going to be fast enough for detecting any of those builds anyway. So if you just scan at the correct positions, you're going to be fine. As you see here, I add my turrets at some specific positions so he cannot enter my base with any shuttle. And now I move out with my vultures to gain some map control. And also, I think when you move out with your vultures, place some mines on your cliff there outside your main, because then when you move out with your tanks to take your third, you're gonna have those mines as a defensive mines. So it's really good, because sometimes when you move out with the vultures and you see he takes his third or something like that, and then you think he's not gonna attack, but actually he's just attacking your main, and you don't have any mines there, and you aren't gonna have any vultures as well, so only like 5 tanks, and sometimes if he has zealots or a shuttle with zealots and stuff like that, it's gonna be really hard to defend. Anyway, I haven't done my vultures yet, and I think I have a bit of map control right now because he has very slow observers when he's doing the 14x. So he's probably not gonna attack me anytime soon here, at least when my vultures are still alive. So I can just take my command center at the spot instead of building it in my main. Usually I build it in my main because I want to be safe, but when you 14 nexus, as I said, you have to try to keep up and do little things all game long, so you can keep up with his superior economics. And also be sure to add your it's even more important if you're at a disadvantage that you add your science facility starport at a decent timing, so you will be able to upgrade as fast as possible. And this game I actually get the 2-1 upgrade at I think 12:30 or something like that, and that's basically the optimal timing for those upgrades. One important thing is to start transfer your SVs before the command center is up. That's pretty basic, but it's actually very important because your economy is gonna be so much better if they get there in time. And the academy is timed, so you will add comsets at the time when your third is gonna be finished. I'm just gonna have to take some sips of my Red Bull here. good stuff. I've been up playing all night because I woke up really late yesterday, so I have to be up at 7 a.m. go to work on Monday. So I thought I'm gonna stay up all night and then go to bed quite early today, like 7 p.m. or something like that. It's an old trick, but usually it works. And sometimes I actually play better when I'm getting a bit tired. I just drink a Red Bull or something like that, and my fingers actually obeys me. And in the morning I can't play. I can't play at all. My fingers are like really stiff and stuff like that. I like to think myself of as a quite inconsistent player. Actually, I hate it, but sometimes I just play real bad, and sometimes it lasts for a couple of days, and then I think it's really boring to play, and then I start playing again. I think maybe that happens to a lot of people, but I'm really trying to keep my consistency up now and play a lot more. I noticed that after I added all those first-person VOD, that my skill level actually decreased some because I haven't been able to play so many games. But now I played like 20 games in a row, so I think my skill is pretty much back right now. Anyway, I scanned, and as you can see, I scanned his position. I scanned his natural, and that is usually the best location to start scan. Make your first scan there, your second scan at his gateways, and your third scan on his third expansion to see if he's going 2 or 3 bases. In his natural, he's usually going to put up his starports, so that is a very good position to scan. Anyway, what you see here is that I do my vulture harass, and at the same time I do my drop thing that I usually do, and this time I actually do a 3 dropships drop, and that is really strong. And as you can see, I choose a location where he's gonna have a hard time defend, because first of all, I already scanned there and I saw he built his buildings in the location, so he won't be able to get goons there in time. And also that natural is actually pretty far away from where his units are. Anyway, if he's gonna defend from my vultures on the main outside his main, I mean, it's pretty far to go there. He's a pretty good player. He interacted my dropships on the way back and killed all the dropships, so that was pretty bad. Otherwise, I would have gone back and dropped again, maybe 1 dropship on his natural and then 2 dropships on his upper left expansion. What he did this game was actually 14 Nexus, and then he took his 3rd really fast after that, and then he took his 4th really fast, and from there he takes 2 arbiters and lots of gateways. So it's actually a really good counter to the flash build, but the flash build is still doable versus that, so that usually leads to very good games, and I think this game was pretty good. So what I'm thinking right now is that I dropped, with 3 dropships, I dropped 4 tanks, and I lost a lot of tanks during that, even if I got his economy a bit low. So I added my 3rd machine shop really fast, so I can keep up with my tank count. And also I believe that he has more units than I can actually handle with the 2-1 timing, because he took his expansion so fast, and he's gonna have so many gateways and an arbiter up already and stuff like that. So this time, also I think your tank count has to be like, you have to have 1 group of 12 tanks and 1 group of at least 4 tanks to move out with the 2-1 timing, and I think I had a little bit less than that. So I decided actually to stay in my base and keep upgrading. So I'm gonna move out at the timing like 16 minutes. Then I'm gonna have 3 weapon and 2 armor instead, and it's gonna be really strong. But if you're gonna do that timing, if you're gonna move out when you have 3 to upgrade, it's gonna be at 60 minutes, and then you have 16 minutes, and then you really must add turrets at your expansion, and place mines as well, because you're really gonna have time to place some mines. Because like 2 minutes before you're actually gonna move out with this timing, there isn't gonna be any way you can use your vultures to actually damage any more drone probes, usually, because he's gonna have his cannons up and goons in position, and usually pylon walls and stuff like that. So there's a good timing there, like 1 minute before you move out, where you can just use all your vultures to mine up your base. Usually you should mine at your factories as well, but I didn't do it this game. But I should have done that anyway. So right now I'm just waiting for my 3-2 upgrade to finish. And as you can see here, I will check exactly when it finishes, and then I will move out. I'm gonna take another sip of Red Bull. Usually if you do this 3-2 timing upgrade, it's really good to take a rather quick fourth, but it's really hard to take a rather quick fourth on Collosseum, so I take it a bit slow, but that's my intention, to take a fourth anyway, after I move out here. And as you can see now, my upgrades are finished. I should have had like one or two more vessels actually, but I didn't make that, so that was pretty bad. Anyway, when you move out like this, it's really important that you scan so you can see exactly where his units are. And right now you can see I moved my main army up here, and then I split like 3 or 4 tanks to his left expansion. And here is one big battle, and I use my vultures to stop him first, and then go back, and then I press hold position, and I use some EMP on his arbiters. And as you can see, I have like 24 tanks there with 3 upgrade attacks, so his units actually melt pretty fast. There are going to be some points where you actually don't know how much units he has, so I just moved my little split force there that I had on his expansion and helped in the big battle. But quite soon I can see that maybe I wouldn't have to have done that anyway. And also the stasis is gonna be gone soon, so then you're gonna have like 8 more tanks again in your push. And as you can see now, as soon as he attacked me, as soon as he charged me, I just unsiege and move up. But I move up pretty safe here. Because I know he's gonna send more reinforcements from his main, so I put them in siege mode here, and then I just take a couple of tanks and a couple of vultures to move into his other bases. Because you really don't need a lot of tanks to kill probes or pylons or nexuses. You can see there I only have 3 tanks there, but they don't have any vision, so I have to keep scanning, and that's necessary but not really good, because it's better if you place a mine on the ramp or something like that, because you're gonna need your scans now when he's coming with reinforcements and attacking your units. Anyway, he does another attack here, but I was already in position because I knew that he was gonna try to save his expansion. Usually in this kind of scenario, you should send like 1 vulture or 1 SCV to a location where you can see if he decides to attack your main or some of your expansions, because then you can react much faster. I don't have that here, but that's what I would have done if I had time or had thought of it at the time. Anyway, and so what you see here is that I actually just leave my 3 tanks to take care of his expansion to at 9 o'clock, and then I take a lot more tanks to go up to his top left expansion, because I really wanna make his economy hurt right now. And then he does the trick that you make a lot of Dark Templars, and I actually was unaware of this, and I didn't notice it. I saw it far too late, so he actually killed like 8 tanks or something like that with just Dark Templars, and that's really bad for you. You have to really be sure to look for any kind of Dark Templar attempt to kill your force there, so you can scan in time, because Dark Templars are actually really weak if you scan in time when you have 3-2 upgrades. Anyway, if I had time now, I think I will do it later, but usually take 2 or 3 SVs, vultures to your 4th expansion and place some mines there, because sometimes Protoss decides to just send like 1 DT there, and it can really fuck up your whole expansion. Anyway, now I brought my vessel there, so now it's not gonna be able to stop my tanks from killing his expansion. And also, you see, I still keep my tanks. I still keep a decent tank line to cut off any kind of reinforcements, and that is usually pretty good. You can see here I siege up under his cliff here, because that tank is gonna get range anyway to his expansion. So that's usually really good. I move up tanks here as well, but you don't really have to do that. Just place them under the cliff, but close to the cliff, so they can still reach the nexus, because that's all you have to kill. So now I feel that I have taken out most of his economics, and my economics is getting pretty bad as well. I will mostly rely on my 4th expansion now, and he will probably have like one of those expansions that are left in the bottom right, and there is where I have to focus my forces right now. You can see here he had actually 1 Dark Templar there now, so I get a bit punished for that. Anyway, I just keep like 4 tanks or something up at his left expansion to clear out every nexus and gateway and stuff like that, and then I just move every unit to this new area where all the action is gonna happen. Because right now every unit is very important, because both players are playing on pretty low economics, and that usually benefits Terran, because my units are much stronger than his. He needs a really good economy to keep up with my 3/3 upgrades. So also a good thing to do when you're in this position, I should have done it earlier really. I lift my main command center, and then I take one of his expansions where I have cleared his nexus, because most likely he's not gonna have mined up every mineral there. So just lift it there and you get another expansion pretty fast, because you're really gonna need some money if your 4th fails here, as mine did. Pretty much, he didn't kill the command center, but he killed like every SCV, and I haven't got any income from there now. But it's pretty good now, because I attacked his expansion, and this is the only expansion he has left, and he feels that he cannot save this expansion because my units are just too strong, and I still have a lot of cash. I mean, not a lot, but like 600-700 minerals to make vultures and reinforcements, and he has like nothing. So he GG's now, and I hope you like this game. I'm gonna record another VOD now, so take care.